All right, HVC, I'm Jimi. Welcome back. We're back with another video, and yes, back with the Blues Vinyl Tag 2023. Of course, Chris, a Blues Guy Vinyl, has come up with this one. I think this is the third year in a row for Chris coming up with a Blues Vinyl Tag. So we got 20 questions here. Let's get right to it. 100 years ago, both Ma Rainey and Bessie Smith released their first blues recording, show an album from a female blues artist. Well, I got to go with Coco Taylor, and this is From the Heart of a Woman from 1981 on Alligator, and she does a great cover of I'd Rather Go Blind on this one. The great Coco Taylor. Okay, 2023 is the year of the rabbit and the Chinese zodiac. Show an album with a rabbit on the cover or in the name and title, and I don't believe this has to be a blues record, so I'm going to go with this one. This is Annie Haslam and Annie in Wonderland. Of course, the rabbit right there. Annie Haslam, lead singer with Renaissance, and solo album here. Yeah, so nice little bunny on the cover there. Okay, show a blues artist born in January. Question number 3, got to go with Etta James. The late, great Etta James, born January 25th, 1938, in her classic album, At Last. Okay, a show musician who passed away in 2022. Canadian artist that you may not be familiar with. This is Shirley Icard. This is her debut album when I believe she was just 16 years of age. And Shirley Icard did the song It Takes Time. That was later covered by Anne Murray. And Shirley Icard had the hits on the radio. She did a cover of Fleetwood Mac's Say You Love Me, which got a fair bit of radio play back in the 70s. And most notably, she wrote the song that Bonnie Raitt would record, Something to Talk About. That was a Shirley Icard song. She wrote that one. Shirley Icard would later record a version of that one. But yeah, Bonnie Raitt's Something to Talk About, written by the late, great Shirley Icard, who passed away in 2022. Okay, we've got question number 5. Jeff Beck just recently passed away. Obviously, he was famous for his guitar prowess. Show an electric blues album bought in 2022. Well, when you're talking electric blues, how about you go with Rory Gallagher? This is Live in San Diego, 1974. Great double live album from Rory Gallagher. They've been releasing so much stuff celebrating Rory Gallagher, but fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, and conversely, question number 6, show an acoustic blues album purchased in 2022. An album you might not have thought would be necessarily acoustic blues, but it did rate in the top 25 blues albums from 2022. This one from Black Friday Record Store Day. This is Janice Joplin and Jorma Jokinen and the legendary Typewriter Tapes. And they have songs like Hesitation Blues, Kansas City Blues. It really does have that folky kind of blues feeling going on for this. So I was really happy to pick up that from last year. Okay, we've got question number 7, show a 2022 RSD Blues album. And so we're going to go with Lonnie Mack. They reissued this for Record Store Day, and this is Strike Like Lightning, and featuring Stevie Ray Vaughan on this one. So yeah, happy to pick that one up too. Okay, Static Blues, show a used blues album purchased in 2022 that was still in the shrink. Now this one is blues based, at least. Just picked this one up not too long ago. This is a compilation album, Let's Have a Party, the Rockabilly Influence, 1950 to 1960. And as it says on the back, Rockabilly was actually born in the early 50s when a fusion of hillbilly boogie and frantic blues led a revolution in Southern music. So you've got, a lot of your usual suspects. You've got Wanda Jackson, Gene Vincent, Eddie Cochran's on here, Johnny Burnett, and yeah, just a fun kind of rockabilly album, still in the shrink. And this was on EMI Capitol, and I'm not sure when this one came out. Maybe I'm thinking maybe the 80s or early 80s or late 70s on this one. Okay. All right, question number 9. Show your most exciting blues find of the year, maybe a Grail or White Whale. Again, blues-based, but wasn't even looking for this, but came across Cheap Thrills, Big Brother and the Holding Company. This is a UK press in mono. It was just like, wow, just incredible. Sounds great. And of course, the cover of Ball and Chain on this album. And we all know this album, of course, A Piece of My Heart. And yeah, but a UK mono press, wow, fantastic. Maybe I'll show you the label here. So there we go. On CBS, made in England. Oh, okay. So we've got, well, show your most disappointing blues buy of 2022. That one was kind of a hard one. I did talk about this one, again, blues-based, if you will, but was just not thrilled with this Peter Frampton record. This is Premonition, and there was a hit on this one, or at least includes the single Lying. But this is like late 80s, even though this is actually a promo copy. It just didn't talk to me, this Peter Frampton record. Okay. Another tough one, question 11. Show 3 blues 45 RPM 7-inch singles. This is so tough because I just don't ever come across any blues 45s or blues singles. But one I've shown before, and I'll show a few others because you got to go show 3. So certainly with Jeff Beck's passing, this is not in the right sleeve. But we got the Yardbirds and Heart Full of Soul. And on the flip side of this is Steeled Blues. There you go. Came across this one. This is kind of an obscure kind of psych band called The Lost, and this is maybe More Than You. Now the A-side is kind of but the B-side is actually a track called Backdoor Blues. It has more of that kind of psyche blues, kind of jangly guitar kind of thing going on. So The Lost. Don't know a lot about this band. There's not a lot of information out there. It seems to have been lost. And then certainly blues-based. How about the Jimi Hendrix Experience? And this is this is a Record Store Day release from back a while back, and original mono mixes. This is of course Jimi Hendrix and Burning of the Midnight Lamp, and you've also got Crosstown Traffic and Gypsy Eyes. So it's kind of a 45. So you got Crosstown Traffic, Burning of the Midnight Lamp, and Gypsy Eyes, and on colored vinyl. Okay, so those are my singles. Moving right along, we've got question 12. Show a blues artist from somewhere other than the USA or England. I'm going to go with a fairly, maybe obscure artist, a Canadian artist, obviously, if we're going to go not US or England. But this is a Paul James band, and Paul James, Almost Crazy. I came across this one. This is from 1984, I believe, on an indie label, and I just really enjoyed it. And he's got that kind of sound. He does a cover of Hot Tamales, the Robert Johnson, but he does it in that very sort of Hot Tamales in the Red Hot. So that's the kind of sound he has. And in fact, he also does The Ugliest Girl in Town. And in fact, Bo Diddley is featured on that track. So don't quite know what's happened to Paul James, if he's still going or whatever. But and not to be confused with Colin James. This is Paul James band. Again, both blues artists, and this is Almost Crazy. But yeah, I really enjoyed that album. Okay, we have got question lucky number 13. Feeling lucky, show a blues album that has to do with luck, good or bad, such as a 4-leaf clover or a broken mirror, etc. So I'm going to go with the Climax Blues Band and the album Lucky for Some. And then you got, of course, the cards all over there. So there you go. Okay. Question number 14, show a blues album from an artist band that's new to you. Again, I'll show 2 on this one. Canadian artist. I wasn't familiar with this artist. This is Dan Walsh and the album Loop, or L-E-W-P. Saw this artist perform in Stratford. He's from Southern Ontario, but he often just performs by himself with kind of tape loops and things like that going on, but it's really blues-based. And yeah, I really enjoyed him, and I hope I can pick up some more stuff. He only had the one album that was available on vinyl, but he's got some stuff out in CD, and this is an autographed copy. He wouldn't autograph the cover. He said, no, it has to be the inner sleeve. But he continues to play. He gets lots of gigs and whatnot. As I say, it's often solo, but he does also perform with a band. But yeah, Dan Walsh. And another artist that I saw perform just last year at something called Stratford Live, that features a variety of music through the weekend, is the artist Susie Vick. And this is Me and Mabel. She's got a number of albums or CDs out, and I think she's originally from Saskatchewan, I want to say, but now is based in Ontario. But what a voice, what a performer. Had a chance to chat with her at this sort of Stratford Festival sort of thing. And yeah, I mean, she's right into the blues. And in fact, though, she does a great cover of Never Been to Spain, the Three Dog Night song. But artist worth checking out for sure is Susie Vick. And yeah, absolutely great. Okay, moving right along, we have got Question number 15, show a blues collaboration album. And this one is the first one that came to mind. Of course, Albert Collins, Robert Cray, and Johnny Copeland. Showdown. Fantastic. Okay, show a blues-related book or magazine, or he even said poster in the video. So I'm going to go with this one that does include a CD. So this is The Golden Age of the Blues, and this kind of spotlights a number of blues songs with nice write-ups on each, and it's kind of a coffee table style book with great photos, some great pictures. Leadbelly, Charlie Patton, Blind Blake, Big Bill Brunsey. So it's like early blues, Lightning Hopkins, that sort of thing. But it also includes a CD of the songs I mentioned. So then the CD is like, it's right on the cover, so you have to open it up and then you take it out the back here, which is a little strange, a little interesting way to do it, but really lovely sort of, as I said, coffee table kind of book. With lots of nice artwork there. Okay, we've got question number 17. Winter. Show a blues album with snow, ice, cold, etc. on the cover or in the title of the name. Now, of course, I think it was Chris who went with a particular Albert Collins album that was first to mind. So I'm going to go with a different one. I'm going to go with Albert Collins and Cold Snap. There you go. Leave it to Albert Collins to come through. Okay, we got Round and Round, the blues album you played the most in 2022. I'm going to have to go do a CD for this one. He's an artist who's been back out on tour following the pandemic and playing a lot of shows in both Canada and the US. And this is Colin James and his album Open Road. And really enjoyed this album. And I've seen Colin James perform. I've seen Colin James before. The CD just popped right out there. But I think I'd like to see him again. It's been a while, and he is a terrific Canadian blues artist and still going strong. Colin James. But yeah, gave that one a lot of spins for sure. Okay, looky here, a blues album that you would recommend. Going to go with another Canadian band, a band that recently celebrated their 50th anniversary. We're talking about the Downchild Blues Band, of course, with Don Walsh. And again, the inspiration, particularly this album, for the Blues Brothers. Dan Aykroyd, particularly, and John Belushi were listening to Downchild Blues Band, particularly this album. They covered two songs from here, which is I've Got Everything I Need Almost and Shotgun Blues. That would be on the first Blues Brothers album. But yeah, Don Walsh, just a Canadian institution in terms of blues, and just a great great album cover with the approved by the LLBO, that's the Liquor Licensing Board of Ontario, or the LCBO, the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, and they're still going. So it's it's a classic cover there. So yeah, if you want to check out some Canadian blues, particularly Downchild Blues Band, start with this album straight up. Okay, and last but not least, a shout out to a channel in the vinyl community. And this time I'm going to go with PC31, the Vinyl Policeman, Mike from across the pond in England. Terrific channel. He is a big Joe Strummer fan, The Clash, and loves the Kinks as well. Picks up those box sets, and I really enjoy his channel. Fairly new to the vinyl community. So PC31, the Vinyl Policeman, gets my VC shout out. Okay, well, that's going to wrap it up for this. And of course, I'll leave a link to Chris, the Blues Guy Vinyl, his incredible channel, and a guy who deserves way more subscriptions. So get yourself over to Blues Guy Vinyl and subscribe. And yeah, we'll chat again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.